Hey, astral beings. So, emergency message to everybody in the collective or everybody that watches this. There's a lot of people getting triggered, probably dealing with karma. That's why there's so many people out there easily triggered right now, because they probably got a lot of karma on their plate. At least that's what I've been getting from, my own guides, angels, and ancestors, and God. And, most of these people are people that have huge, inflated, fragile egos, narcissists, people that always want to play the victim, when they're the ones causing the problems all the time. So if you are running into people like this, and you've already done the inner work yourself, and you're running into this, if anything, it's a test for everybody. Everybody is getting tested, just in general. People who are doing the work, you'll get tested with these people, and those people are also being tested by dealing with you. You're a safe person for that person to get tested on, okay? While as so is the other person, sort of. And you'll probably pass the test. You'll go through it fine. You'll say what you need to say. You'll go through the situation how you need to go through, and you're most likely going to pass the test. It's just like a reassurance to show you, hey, maybe you've dealt with this type of person or place or people before, and or this type of situation, and maybe you didn't handle it as good as you did in the past, but it's trying to show you your growth of where you're at now. How now you're handling these situations a lot better. While as the contrary, these other people are also being tested. You are a test for them, because we all play a part in each other's lives when it comes to this kind of stuff. And, they could be still failing, their test, unfortunately. It just depends on how they react to the situation. I'll be honest, I've dealt with a lot of different people, just random people that I don't even know these people, and I've had to run into these people not because I wanted to, but because they're running into me, and if some crazy situation like that is running into me and I'm over here in my place of zen and peace, and they're coming over here bringing me a bunch of problems. One situation I will say was I was out walking Bebe, my dog, and somebody, I don't know if it was a neighbor friend or my neighbor, I don't know, but they were out, and their kids were playing. There was a bunch of other adults out there too, and I live in an apartment complex. It's a community, okay? Like you need to have your dog on a leash, and if my personal opinion, I wouldn't care if your dog wasn't on a leash as long as your dog comes back on command to a T no matter what. If your dog is not trained, there is no reason to ever have your dog off leash at all. Okay? And it's not to say, oh, my dog's friendly. It doesn't matter. Maybe the other dog is not friendly or they're protective or whatnot. And Bebe, she's actually very friendly, but if she views things as a threat, she will go and defend or go in protection mode, And so I'm just trying to take her on a walk. And again, this is just an example. I've been through a few situations like this in the past couple of weeks, not gonna lie. But this dog, I walked around the corner and I didn't know there was a dog there, not on a leash, and there was a leash on the dog, but nobody was holding the leash of the dog or wasn't even near the dog. And the dog started beelining towards me as I'm walking Bebe on the leash. I immediately start walking away. The dog does not stop. It's just beelining, like on a little trot straight towards me. I don't know this dog. It's a decently sized dog. I'm not gonna lie, I've dealt with other not so great dog situations in the past. So I don't allow really any meetings of any dog for the most part, unless I do know that dog is friendly for sure, or there's respectful boundaries happening with meeting and whatnot. This is not that situation, okay? Like the dog's not on a leash, it's beelining me, and I have to immediately start saying, "Hey, whose dog is this? You need to get your dog right now. It's coming right at me, and my dog will defend and protect itself and me. Like I'm being the responsible one, and I'm walking away. The dog does get right up to me. Literally, the dog is like coming up onto my leg and like trying to go towards Bebe, and Bebe's like, I'm holding Bebe back, and Bebe's like getting mad, getting upset, like, yo, why is this dog like all up on our business? Because again, it's rude. Like a dog shouldn't be coming up to anyone like that at all, whether they're friendly or not. It's just, again, that's inappropriate behavior. If a person's coming up to you and is just all up in your business, like touching you and stuff, and you don't even know the person, like, what are you gonna do? Like, most people are probably gonna defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just rude behavior, including in dog language. It's rude behavior. You just don't do that. And I'm calling the person. I'm like, yo, bro, you need to get your dog. And the guy's walking over to the dog, like it's a Sunday day off or something, and barely just taking his time. And, I'm a little upset now because that could have been a really bad situation. And I had every right to feel upset. And again, this situation's literally, there's nothing I can do about it. It's being forced upon me. Like, I just literally ran into the situation, literally. And I'm a responsible dog owner. And of course, I'm a little upset. And it's not the first time I've dealt with this type of stuff in the neighborhood either. It's not, or just in general. And so, the guy grabs the dog, and the guy immediately says sorry, and I'm still a little upset, and I just say, yeah, that's fine and all, but hey, you need to have your dog on a leash. And his dog did have a leash on, but nobody was holding the leash, okay? And he's like, oh, my dog, he's not upset when I said that. He gets more upset when I say that. And I'm just like, he's like, oh, my dog is on a leash. And I said, okay, well, leash in hand, buddy. Like, that's what I said. And that, I could tell that triggered him, but I was being for real. Like, yo, bro, like, who are you trying to fool here? Like, yeah, your dog has a leash on, but nobody's holding the leash of the dog. Nobody's even near the dog. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the dog, got out of the person's hand of the leash or whatever. No, the person was like feet away. I don't know how many feet away, but they weren't even close to the dog, okay? At all. Dog's just running around with the leash on, but nobody's holding it. And yeah, so I could tell that pissed him off, and he's like, I did apologize. Well, he starts getting mad and flustered, even though I'm a little upset, obviously. Like, this almost turned into an incident where I might have to go to the vet, or he might have to go to the vet, where both of us, you know what I'm saying? And I don't need that right now. Like, I don't. Just normal life things just happening, and you never know. Life happens. But still, I have every right to feel upset myself, and I at least had every right to say what I said. Because it's true. Like, if you're going to take on an animal or do something like that, you are responsible for that animal, and you have to be responsible for that. And you should be making the right decisions, especially if you're not on your own private property, or you're in a more public community area where, like, you're supposed to have your dogs on leash and stuff. And again, I already told you the reasons why that's very imperative, important. And so this guy, I could tell he's getting all upset, and he's like, I apologize. And I'm just like, yo, bro, like, I got you. I accept your apology. I was just letting you know. And he's just like, yeah, I apologize. I could tell he was getting mad, like, it's like nobody's ever told him, real stuff in his life before, or like stepped up to him in that way and like told him what's up. Like, I don't know. This is another adult. Okay. And I just like, he just like, I could tell like he was just going to continue being more upset. So I just told him, like, yo, bro, like, calm down. I accepted your apology. Like, see you later. And then I walked away, and I kept walking with Bebe. But, I could tell, like, I hurt his ego, in some sort of way. And that's why he started getting more mad when I told him what he did wrong, and it's like, bro, like, obviously you did some stuff wrong, and all I did was say my piece. I never did anything more than that. I didn't. And again, I might have sounded a little upset, but again, I had every right to feel upset. An incident almost just occurred that could have been really bad, you know, for both of us. And who wouldn't be upset? I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm human. I have human emotions, and I let those show sometimes. I do. Only in the right situations, like when a situation like that happens. So yeah, and I've dealt with just I drive a lot as well, and there's just a lot of people. I've been talking to God about it. There's just a lot of people wilding out there right now, just totally in their egos. And really honestly, it's really just because we're in the age of Aquarius, and this energy is very, very potent right now. People's true of what they are holding in, or the things that they have not dealt with, is just coming to the surface and coming out. It's like the truth. They can't hold in that type of behavior anymore. Kind of like the masks have been completely ripped off of everybody, and you're now seeing everybody for who and exactly what they are. So if you've been dealing with like a lot of like BS when it comes to people just in general, like that's the reasoning, okay? And also, me, when it comes to those situations, I might need to say my piece and say what's up, because I'm real. I'm gonna tell you, what needs to be said, all right? And sometimes people need to hear that, okay? It's not like I want to do it. I don't want to be that person, but if you're, coming into my bubble of peace and zen and messing some stuff up, then yeah, you're gonna hear it from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not gonna hold back on you. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm gonna be blunt about it, and I'm gonna say it how it is. And if people get triggered or upset over that, that's not my problem. Yeah, I'm not the one who told you to come over into my bubble and start messing with stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I'm just not the one. I'm not the one. So if you feel like that's happening to you, and it's again because you are composed enough to be able to handle these situations, whilst other people might not be able to handle it very well. Like, imagine if I was another huge inflated ego person, and having an ego battle with that guy now. Like, I could have had a straight out, like, I could have gotten in a fight with that guy. Okay, like, if I had a huge ego myself and we started arguing, like, it could have got worse. It easily could have got worse because of how heated that guy was getting. But I realized that guy was getting upset for literally no reason at all, just because I was telling him the truth and he couldn't handle it, I guess. And so I said, "Yo, bro, I accept your apology. See you later." And I walked away. But it's like, again, that could have gone worse. And so whenever you're in that situation, just remember that. I always have been saying, like, take a deep breath. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay, like, that's why I have to tell myself in some of these situations when these people with huge inflated egos or are easily triggered for no reason at all just come into my reality out of nowhere like a freaking meteor hitting the earth. Okay, like, and that's literally how I feel about it. Like, these people are just flying in, trying to crash into my, bubble of zen and peace over here, trying to disrupt it. So yeah, just, I know this is a longer video, but just kind of go into detail on that. And yeah, again, don't let those things bring you back down to a lower vibe. I know for me, like, especially if the person has some really nasty energy, I will literally, like, tell myself that's not my energy, that's their energy, that is projection, that is theirs, that is not mine. And, like, I will literally mentally view, like, that energy being blocked and being removed out of me, because yes, these people are projecting very nasty negative energy onto you as well if you run into these situations, because they're not doing the work. Most of these people aren't doing the work. They'd rather just project it onto everyone and everything else, like they're vomiting all over everybody, but it's their disgusting energy. So I mean, don't let it affect you. Just, like, let it go. That's theirs to deal with. You deal with it however you need to deal with it and move on. Okay, don't think about it. Keep going, and don't let it ruin your day. Okay, because you could, you could let it ruin your day, and you just have to remind yourself, like, it's not worth it. It's not freaking worth it.